Hawaii is such a beautiful place. I wonder who would do such a thing and come over and take the lands with its nice sunny beaches, clear skies, and blue seas. Oh, wait, I think it actually was. Did you know that the Kingdom of Hawaii was overthrown by the United States businessmen and their queen Liliani Ukalani was forced to give up power and the islands of her people because she was at gunpoint? Hawaii wasn't the only one, but other Pacific islands were also taken away by force. Like Guam and the Philippines were taken around the same time, which led into many of the United States' expansion across the ocean. United States claimed that they came not as conquerors, but as friends to come protect the natives of the land. This is the little sugarcoating of words can be summed up as settler colonialism. What is settler colonialism that you're asking? Well, settler colonialism is a slow but fast process where settlers, traders, and soldiers or governors come to stay permanently and try to replace the indigenous people with settlers, but they come in with a mission or a justified cause to seize the land of the indigenous people, claiming that they are in need of care or assistance. And finally, when majority is the United States settlers, it becomes a governed state or territory by the United States, where the United States has the utmost power over the land so they can use it for farming, military, and other purposes as that they please. Coming back to Hawaii in 1893, United States business owner Samuel Dole brought up a plan to dominate the sugarcane economy. So, with the aid of the United States Marines, they came and overthrew Queen Liliani Ukalani. In 1898, United States annexed Hawaii at the urge of the president at the time, William McKinley. Hawaii was made a territory in 1900s and eventually became a state in 1959. The seizure of Hawaii was very unlawful. They threatened violence and had a lethal overthrow to the Queen of Hawaii. She did many protests and petitions and took legal political action, wrote documents for clear disapproval of her people and land, but it was not enough. One current United States territory is that many people may not know is Guam. The indigenous people of Guam are the Chamorros, and they were not consulted to become an American colony. In 1898, there was a benevolent assimilation proclamation due to the Spanish American War. They saw Guam to be unfit and very weak from this war, so they came to save them and govern them until they can govern themselves further on. That's what the United States said until you know it. Later on, the United States brought their navy, and even with the aid of the United States, the indigenous people of the Chamorros sought out for self government and citizenship to the United States many times, with residents of Guam petitioning countless times in 1917, 1925, all the way through 1949 and 50s. Despite many efforts over the years, in the 1900s, the petitions were unaddressed in Congress and were unclaimed to be lost and ultimately ignored, rejected, and became subjects to an American empire. Many Chamorros and residents today in Guam are fighting for justice of what they were rightfully taken away from. My last example that I want to come across is the Philippines. In the same year, in 1898, the Benevolent Assimilation Proclamation, the United States stated that we come not as invaders or conquerors, but as friends to protect the natives in their homes and their employment and in their personal religious right. All persons who either by active aid or by the honest submission cooperate with the government of the United States to give effect to these benefits purposes will receive award and protection. Since the United States was already stronger in the Philippines, a Bill of Rights article helped expansionists who wanted more power for the United States. They argued that the Philippines was a great base for expanding trade and having greater influences in the Pacific area. So quickly, a treaty was signed on December 10th. Spain surrendered the Philippines for $20 million, but immediately an anti-imperialist move occurred, arguing that the colonialism was an un-American and unconstitutional, that the annexation of the Philippines was a whole betrayal. The whole transferring of ownership land turned the Filipinos into a whole resistance. So we can see that the language that the United States has used from benevolent assimilation, how their language masked the United States promise of civilization, but in reality imposed a violent disposition for labor and racial hierarchy across Hawaii, Guam, and the Philippines. This is important to note because many people get confused how United States got control of Hawaii, Alaska, or why we operate in Guam or even in Puerto Rico, and questions why residents in those islands want genuine rights and citizenship. Many Americans today get really racist and anti-Asian because these people are not fully American, and they forget how Americans are not Hawaiians, Chamorros, Philippines, and these aliens came to take. But now the roles are reversed. Uneducated people see them as outsiders. What I want to bring more awareness is that these are not just past events, but these are still ongoing events happening to this day, for the manifest of militarization, tourist driven economies, and struggles that current indigenous people have over land ownership. Because if we do not educate America, it will just become more divided instead of being united. Take an example as from Bad Bunny. He says that he's proud Puerto Rican and he's proud from where he comes from, and he wants to play in the Super Bowl in 2026. But people argue that he's not a real American. That since he's from a United States territory, that and what we just learned from benevolent assimilation, that the United States still has yet to come out of. There just needs to be a general acceptance where people has been from, and then that it should be okay regardless on where we come from. That we should express unity, diversity, difference of culture and race.